clients who have experienced trauma often have difficulty regulating their emotions. So how can we help them learn how to self-regulate? Well, the first thing we need to think about is their window of tolerance, because if they're outside that window, it can be difficult for them to make progress in their sessions with us.
When I think about self-regulation, I really think about that optimum window of tolerance, right? That in a non-traumatized client with good self-regulation skills is really quite wide. So, they have a broad window of tolerance. And of course, you have to be in that window of tolerance to be able to think clearly, to have good relationships, to plan for the future. If you're outside that optimum window of tolerance, all those abilities, I think, are very much affected. And so when we think about our traumatized clients who have great difficulties with self-regulation, I always think of that optimum window of tolerance shrinking, right? So it's very narrow, and usually they're either too hyper-aroused or too hypo-aroused, which prevents them from thinking clearly, of being involved in stable relationships, prevents them from being really able to function at work because, they're constantly juggling either hyper-aroused or hypo-aroused states. So I think self-regulation is all about being in that optimum window of tolerance and widening that optimum window of tolerance through emotional awareness, through learning how to regulate your emotions, and through really coming into your body and feeling safe in your body.
That was Dr. Ruth Lanius. Ruth is a professor of psychiatry and the director of the Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Research Unit at the University of Western Ontario. And she's just given us an excellent snapshot of the window of tolerance. That's a term from Dr. Dan Siegel, and it's an important concept when we're working with trauma and dysregulation. Now, expanding that window of tolerance is critical when we're helping clients learn to self-regulate. So what are some practical tools we can use to do this? Well, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk begins his work as soon as a client walks into his office.
When somebody walks in my office, I look at the way they walk in. I look at whether they're able to make eye contact. I look at their breathing. So one of the first things I do when I sit with people is I look at whether they actually are able to live within their rib cages. And I may spend the first hour with a new patient helping them to just open up their rib cage and to breathe. Because as long as the primitive part of your brain is all uptight, it's no use to do psychotherapy with them. So you start off with the most elementary arousal systems of the body. Every session I do that with everybody. When people are uptight, we may do Qigong exercises. Just imagine you have a ball between your hands. Open up your rib cage, calm yourself down. I may tap with people, tap acupressure points.
Now, how does tapping affect people? Well, here's what Bessel has found.
People become quieter. People get into the window of tolerance. People become more focused, alert, can actually talk about things. When people are uptight, I like to say never leave home without a beach ball. People are uptight, you throw a beach ball back and forth. And when you get the rhythm going, you activate the most elementary synchrony part of your brain. So you calm yourself down and it becomes safe to start talking about stuff that may otherwise be terrifying.
These breathing and movement exercises can be used for clients who are either hyper or hypo-aroused. The key thing here is helping people come back into their window of tolerance, because when our clients are dysregulated, it can be near impossible to do the difficult work of healing. Now I'd like to hear from you. What have you found to be effective in helping clients learn to self-regulate? Please leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.